Want to know why your business isn't growing like you envisioned? In this video, we're going to break down the 8 silent killers that could be keeping you trapped in the constant cycle of struggle. See, I've been in the agency services world for over 2 decades, and in the last 5 years specifically, I've had the opportunity to train and coach over 600 different business owners. These are agency owners, these are freelancers, consultants, and consultancies that are really looking to grow, and I've been able to see what's actually holding them back from building a business that they love, from a business that generates the revenue and the impact that they desire, all without sacrificing their soul. It really comes down to these 8 silent business killers. And if we can solve these, we're actually gonna be able to unlock new levels of growth, not only from the income and the profit that you want, but honestly, the freedom and the fulfillment, the joy in the work that you do each and every day. Now, the number one silent business killer is offering too many services. The reality is that most agencies, most service providers, we get started by customizing each solution for each client. That's great in the beginning. We're trying to get some traction. We need to figure out what we like, what people value, what the marketplace wants and needs, and what they're willing to pay a premium for. But if you're stuck somewhere between 10 and 50K a month in revenue, and you look at your service menu, the number of services, products, packages that you have, and it's more than 1 to 2, you are likely offering way too many things. And because of that, you actually create a lot of other challenges that show up in your business. Like, you don't know who your ideal client is. You don't know how to go market and say what it is you do because you do all of the things. You don't know who to hire because you need someone who has the exact same amount of experience that you have in order to just get some help, which, guess what? You have a lot of experience and you probably charge a lot. So you can't afford another one of you. And so by having fewer services, you can actually better hire and train and onboard people to take things off of your plate. So if you're stuck between 10 to 50K a month and really arguably under $1 million, and some will say even 3 million, you should really only have 1 to 2 services inside of your service suite. Silent business killer number 2 is that you don't have an ideal client profile, meaning you'll serve anybody. So I kind of touched on this a little bit, but in the early days, in order to get traction, you need to likely serve a variety of people. Doing so, you get to learn what you're good at, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. I remember we had a wide variety of clients. I offered a wide variety of services. I realized what I was good at, the things that I never want to offer again because it was not fun and not enjoyable, and I was being, looked at as like an employee versus offering valuable solutions. And so early on, you might need some of those reps. You might need to serve 10, 20 clients to really understand what you're best at, what you want to double down on, what they actually need, and quite frankly, what the real problem is that your client has. While it's okay in the early days to have a variety of clients, at some point, again, if you're sitting there 10, 20, 30K a month and you've been that way for a while and you're really not sure why, I'd probably look to the types of clients that you've worked with. Are they similar? Do they have similar problems? Do they each need something different? Pick who you would like to work with. Who has a painful problem that you know how to solve, that you enjoy solving, that you enjoy working with? The number of agency owners today that I see that work with clients just because they are able to pay a lot of money is really alarming, because guess what? Business is actually challenging. And when push comes to shove and you need to make tough decisions about your business and you growing it yourself, you're going to want to be motivated to get through some of those obstacles inside of your own growth journey. And if you don't even enjoy the person that you like working with, it's going to make it even harder to focus and to do the hard work that's going to actually allow you to get over the hump to have the business that you want. So you have to have an ideal client profile, what they look like, how much they make, the problems that they have, and make sure that they're someone that you enjoy working with. Silent business killer number 3 is that you lead all of your services with a retainer, meaning your one package or the one of many services that you offer, because we've already covered that you probably offer too many, is just a retainer. And that's basically the way of you saying, hey, I don't know what it is you need, so I'm just going to say, hey, for a flat fee every month, we'll do anything that you need. Now, everyone talks about retainers as if like they're the secret to success. Recurring revenue is important, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But most agency owners that I've worked with and have seen, and myself included, that led with a retainer just in hopes of having recurring revenue are usually the ones that get suffocated from a handful of clients. You have 10, maybe 20 clients, and very quickly, you have recurring revenue, but you're everything to them. Like, you're an outsourced marketing department that really should be making a whole lot more money than you're charging in that retainer, and B, is now actually eating up all of your capacity that you don't even have the bandwidth to take on more clients. And so the obvious answer is, well, let me go hire. But when you hire, that eats eats into the margin that you already don't have, and you find yourself in this weird place where you kind of need the money to pay your bills, you have some recurring revenue, but each client is not that profitable, and the scope of work just kept expanding and expanding and expanding, and you're kind of stuck. While having recurring revenue is important, leading with retainers is not something that I recommend, and it's the thing that I see a lot of agencies struggle with, to be honest. So don't lead with a retainer. Sell something smaller, because smaller engagements, smaller promises are actually easier to keep. And here's the thing, your clients don't need to have everything that you do right now. Some of the things that you probably offer come in a sequence and need to be phased in after they've done a few of the more foundational things. So you'll find that when you have an upfront package or an upfront offer that solves a smaller, more specific problem, it'll be easier to sell because your prospect will be able to see the end in mind, not this, 24 months from now we'll receive this cool outcome that is a culmination of all of these services. So the silent killer number 3, leading with retainers. Silent killer number 4 is actually to have no recurring revenue at all. Now, like I said, I don't think you should lead with retainers, and I've done a handful of videos that I'll link up in the description below that cover why you shouldn't do retainers and why you shouldn't lead with MRR, etc. But the point here is that you still want something that is recurring, meaning that you have clients that are coming back each and every month. Now there's recurring revenue and then there's reoccurring revenue. Each one is great, but ideally you have a recurring revenue stream where every month a client is going to pay you a certain amount of money for a specific outcome or specific services rendered. Ideally, this is for advisory and training and your expertise, not just your hands to keyboard. But we want to have a situation where we're not always having to chase new clients, because if you look at any successful business, that 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, they do not rely solely on just getting new clients. They actually keep clients, and they keep them for a long time, increasing the lifetime value. So the real game, the real name of the game inside of growing a service-based business is to not lose clients. Thus, you need something that allows you to keep solving problems for them each and every month and delivering value each and every month and extending that lifetime value per client. Because I can tell you, if you don't lose clients, or at least you keep them for a year, 2 years, 3 years plus, the dependency on you to have to figure out how to go acquire a new client every single month, which by the way, you're not that great at so far, if you're watching this video, then you don't have to worry about that as much, because you can get a couple new clients each and every month and it keeps compounding because you never lose clients. Now, silent business killer number 5 is that you're actually too available to your existing clients. Some of you are going to get all, riled up on this one, but you can't be the sole person responsible for every single outcome inside of your client's success. So if you have no boundaries, meaning that your day looks like you responding and waiting for your clients to ask you to do something, you're going to be in struggle town. We want to be in a position where we have clear boundaries and clear expectations. When do clients communicate with you? When do you communicate with them? What time of day? What day of the week? What platforms are you using? What's allowed? What's not allowed? If your client is texting you on the weekends, you've set bad expectations. So we need to have some sort of boundary to the point where you don't feel like you have to always respond in that moment. If you have a process and a way in which you know that they're going to get taken care of on time and deliver the results that you promised. So this is not a, hey, you don't have to respond to your clients type of conversation. This is a, you don't need to sit around. Your day shouldn't be you waiting to see if your client sends you an email. So many of you guys are reactionary, just waiting, that you never proactively go solve their problems or proactively go work on your own business, because your 40-hour work week is just in response to anything that might be coming your way. And so you never really get in a flow to work on the things that matter most inside of your business. So identifying a point person and having some structure and some systems to kind of dictate when you respond to clients, how fast, and via what mediums is going to be incredibly important. And again, the 5th silent killer is just being too available to your clients. The 6th silent business killer is that you do very little marketing and or content marketing, if at all. The number of service providers that I see that literally don't share their point of view, have no marketing plan, have no marketing system is terrifying. Because if you have a point of view, you should be sharing it. That's actually what's going to attract clients. You being out in the marketplace, sharing content, and in today's world, daily, depending upon the platform that you're on, to demonstrate your expertise, your authority, and to attract traffic to your business. Now, you might not be able to take on a client right now because you might be at capacity, which is totally fine, but this is supply and demand. If a ton of people want your services and there's limited supply, then you can raise your rates. You can charge a lot. You're going to be able to make enough money that you can hire to get help. So you need to always be marketing yourself, because the people that don't, the agency owners that don't, they'll get a client, they'll go into fulfillment mode, and when they come out, they'll be like, all right, well, where's my next client? And they haven't been doing anything to generate any awareness and capture any leads or any attention that is going to make anybody want to work with them. So if you are an owner of your agency, and again, you're still small, you're under 10 to 50K a month, you need to be going out there as the expert and sharing content, reaching out to people that would be of interest, and putting together campaigns and consistency in that demonstration of expertise that's going to bring people to you. Hands down, the best thing that we ever did in our business was to talk about the things that we're doing for our clients, sharing a lot of the experience we've had, giving away a lot of the information for free, and charging a premium for implementation. Because as the owner, you're responsible to go get clients. That's your job inside of the business. That is the job of marketing, is to get customers, to get clients. And so if you're the type of person who's a technician, you like doing the work, that's great, but it's still a part of your job in the fine print of entrepreneurship that you have to go sell it. No one is going to sell it better than you, especially in the early days. If you're an agency owner and you haven't even gotten traction selling yourself, you hiring someone to do sales for you or even outreach is such a wasted expense, yet something I see so many people do. Build a habit of creating and sharing content consistently, the right types of content on the platform of choice, so that you can start building traffic and getting eyeballs to look at what it is that you do and how you can actually help them. That's going to start to fill your pipeline, create opportunities that will turn into clients within the next 90 days, today, and in the future. Silent business killer number 7 is not saying no enough. The reality is, so many of you guys, kind of back to earlier, because you don't have an ideal client profile, you say yes to anything. Your product, your service is the word yes. And that's led to a lot of these problems. You need to know what to say no to. And when you've solved the silent business killers that we've talked about already, you're going to know who you should say no to. There's certain types of clients that you probably shouldn't be working with, that you know you can't help, even if they can pay you. You should have a minimum level of engagement. So if all of your clients come in and your core service starts at 10K and they only have 6K, if they can't find a way to get you to the 10K, that client is not going to be a good fit, right? So you having specialization and focus in who you serve and who you help is going to be critical for you breaking past 10 to 50K a month and into the 7 figures, and especially high 6 figures in profit if that's what you're focused on. And the byproduct of all of that is you're going to get better at what you do. You'll be able to do it a lot faster and with less time, energy, and headache, which, by the way, makes you more profitable. Now, the last silent business killer is the lack of systems and process. So many people are trying to do things manually and only with their labor. They're trying to strong arm things into existence. Once you do all of the things that we talked about already, solving these previous 7 silent business killers, you're going to be able to start to create some systems around how you create content, how you bring attention to you and your business, how you have your sales process. You shouldn't be reinventing the wheel every single sales conversation. You shouldn't be doing custom proposals. You should be able to have the exact same sales conversation presentation for each and every prospect that you talk to. So much so that it could be documented, and it should be, and you can hand that off to somebody else so that they can actually take it off your plate. You should have your onboarding process systematic and documented so that you don't need to be responsible for onboarding and other parts of client success and support and delivery. If every time you're winging it, you are missing out on a huge opportunity to build your income, to build the business of your dreams, and to have it to start running without you and having your clients be so reliant on you as the owner. So that's the 8 silent killer. Now, again, this is what I've experienced now after helping over 600 different agency owners and freelancers. The goal here is to avoid as many of these as possible, and you'll be able to build a more predictable business, one that is predictable in leads, in the number of clients that you get each and every month, the client results that you get, and that's going to create a lot of certainty for you, a lot of control and understanding what your income is going to look like, what your schedule is going to look like, how big your team is going to need to be. So all of these things are on the other side of solving these 8 silent business killers. Now, if you still don't believe me that selling directly into retainers is a bad idea, then you should go check out this video because I talk all about it there.